I'm pleased to inform my viewers that my fellow compatriot Hijacker has created ProMaleCollective subreddit. This new community on Reddit has 17 members and I'd like to see more proactive pro-male men joining in, so please check it out on Reddit and join if you are one of these men. I recently joined the Reddit myself and became the member of the community. With the sufficient growth of this community, I plan to share any relevant petitions and campaigns there, as well as any updates, so if you want to see that happening, please join us on r/ProMaleCollective. One of the communities I've initially joined with my newly created account was r/MensRights, the biggest Reddit community, where I've made 3 posts before I was banned from participating. In this video, I want to address this ban and the moderation of this community to highlight problems within that community. Those 3 posts I've made were about 3 videos. First one is on the channel analyzing male slavery, and it's a video in which Trevor Cormier addresses The Guardian, but it got removed from Trevor's channel when The Guardian abused YouTube's flagging system in order to take it down. This post has gained 51 upvotes and the video itself gained plenty of views. The second video in question is Trevor's video on military men and their service, which only has 3 upvotes and didn't gain that many views in comparison to the first one. Third video in question was the one from Hijacker titled The Masculine Mystique and the Men's Rights Movement, which talks about draft among various other things. Unlike those previous videos in question, this video is narrated by text-to-speech, but it is still one of my favorite YouTube videos and the best one RGK did so far. After I made those posts, I've got the message informing me that I got banned from participating, with the given reason being that posting my own voice synth YouTube videos is just a form of spam. Of course, I've challenged this slander because the only video with text-to-speech voice I've shared was the one from Razor and not mine, and here's the screen cap of that response I've sent to the moderator of MensRights subreddit, that person being mensmod. In his first and final response, he went on to move the goalposts further by saying that the synth voice videos are considered low-quality content like memes and rage comics, never mind the fact that MensRights subreddit is full of memes despite his assertion that they don't belong there. Here, I want to point out few very obvious problems. First one being that nowhere in the rules of MensRights subreddit is specified that synth voice videos are considered low-quality content. Second one being that mensmod mentioned that at least 2 things got removed for being low quality without specifying what the other thing or things was or were, and the last problem being that, without specifying in entirety what is considered the low quality content, the rule that no new accounts will be given tolerance grants moderators the excuse to ban any new account for any reason they want and for their own personal agenda. Since I suspect that is the case with mensmod, I want to share this screen cap as an example of mensmod abusing his mod powers to remove the post that clashed with his personal views. The first part of the screen cap shows mensmod posting pro-marriage tradcon propaganda that downplays the risks of marriage, leaves out the fact that no-fault divorce is the most common type/cause of divorce and the increased risks of suicide among divorced men. This pro-marriage fetishist then goes on to say how men should fight to reform the marriage and calling men who don't fight to reform the marriage lazy, continuing to apply hyperagency onto men in a true tradcon fashion. Tradcons obsessed with marriage are always tossing men under the bus, with California becoming the first state to pass no-fault divorce, with Ronald Reagan signing the law being a very good example of this toxic anti-male behavior. Of course, tradcons in general will leave out the no-fault divorce out of their pro-marriage propaganda and then blaming other men as weak, lazy, millennials, lefty soy boys, liberal cocks, cultural Marxists, etc., while forcing single men to pay for marriage tax breaks in order to finance their lifestyle of bribing women into anti-male institution that is marriage. People who generalize about Marxists and leftists do not get banned because scapegoating and conspiracy theories fit the right-wing narrative, leftists and so-called cultural Marxists brainwashing women being the one example of this type of narrative. In other words, these people will approve those generalizations that they agree with. The second part of the screen cap shows mensmod removing the comment that is generalizing about women in a way that he doesn't approve because it conflicts with his narrative. Tradcons are gatekeeping men's rights spaces and ruining them, and, at the same time, driving away any person who wants to do real activism and address actual men's rights instead. It seems that tradcons are banning people who are pro-male and calling the right-wingers out in order to create a woman-worshipping echo chamber. I have serious doubts that posting video from Jordan B. Peterson or, even a video with text-to-speech voice praising housewives, would elicit the same reaction and be labeled as low quality. That being said, I hope that ProMaleCollective subreddit will become space for those people who are serious about men's rights activism and, as one of the moderators, I plan to do my part in order for it to be successful. Tradcons are the enemy of men and won't be tolerated on r/ProMaleCollective. To any anti-male hijacker, tradcon, or otherwise, I only have this to say. Hammer time!